Nithyananda, welcome back. We are now looking at the glimpses of the glorious past on the 19th of May. In this segment, we see about the great Tyaga done by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in reviving the Kailasa, the only Hindu nation, and how the whole divine Leela unfolded. So, we are now diving into the first year, which is the year of 2002. On that day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism conducted the 2-day Anandaspurna Convention in Bengaluru, India. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has previously explained that every time he does the Anandaspurna program, it is almost like burning the sufferings of 10,000 people. There may be only 100 people attending the program, but each one of them are connected to at least 100 people in their lives. So when one person's suffering is burnt, he brings joy to the 100 people who are directly involved in his life. We now move on to the year 2004. On that day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism explained to his devotees that they are the embodiment of energy, the Atma's Swarupa, and further elaborated on what is the Shakti Spurana. In our life, most of us feel tiredness, dizzy, and depression, which are expressions of low energy. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism explained with charts in which way we are actually missing our life and why we are unable to experience the Shakti Spurana. Let us now see the glimpses of that beautiful satsang.
Two masters, two rishis says the same thing. Be very clear, someone is fake. It means two rishi cannot say the same thing. Two rishi cannot express in the same way. So many masters, so many methods, so many paths, so many philosophy, so many different kind of things. But all of them agree in one point. They disagree in many points. Of course, each one has got their own idea about everything. About marriage, somebody has got idea that they should marry, people should marry. Somebody has got idea people should not marry. About food, somebody says vegetarian food is the real thing or non-veg. There are so many kinds of expression. About spiritual practice, some say the meditation, the spiritual practice is the basic thing, it is necessary. Some say nothing is necessary, there is no need for practice. Each and every one, every master has got his own method, his own technique, his own understanding. But in one subject, almost all the masters, they agree with each other. That must be something basic point. That is the reason everyone agrees on this one point. What is that one point? What is that basic point? Let us see. All of us are embodiment of energy. In every one of us, all of us are embodiment of energy. The Atma Swarupa. We are energy. We are the embodiment of Atman. We are embodiment of spiritual energy. In this one point, almost all the masters they agree with each other. In this one point, there is no disagreement. From the Buddha, from Shankara, from Ramanuja, from Krishna, from Rama, every master, whomsoever expressed their experience, every master agrees in this one point. All of us are embodiment of energy. Continuous energy flow is happening inside our being. The continuous energy flow is what I call Shakti Spurana. Spurana means continuous flowing. Shakti Spurana means continuous energy flow. In every one of us, continuous energy flow is happening. All the masters are repeating this again and again, that in every one of us, continuous energy flow is happening. But in our practical life, in our real life, most of us feel tiredness, disease, depression, only the expressions of low energy. Why we are not able to experience the Shakti Spurana, the expression of high energy? Why? Where the gap between their teaching and our reality happens. Every master says we are all embodiment of energy, but in our real life, in our practical life, somewhere we are missing it. How? Why? How we are missing it? Why we are missing it? How to come back to the energy expression? How to achieve the Shakti Spurana? These three questions only we are going to analyze today. First, how we are missing and why we are missing, and how to have connection again with that Shakti Spurana, with that energy expression. Understand this word Spurana. Spurana means continuously flowing in you. Continuously flowing in you. Spurana means stream, fountain, fountain of energy. Shakti Spurana means the fountain of energy which is happening continuously. So, in every one of us, continuous Shakti Spurana is happening. How we are not able to use it? Why we are not able to achieve it? First thing, we need to understand, as we all think we don't have only one body, we have three layers of the body. We have three layers of body. One is the body called Stula Sarira, which you are using now. The body which you are using at present, made out of bone, flesh and blood. The body which you are associating yourself with now. The second, Sukshma Sarira, the body with which you associate yourself in the time of dreams. You may be lying and resting in Mumbai, but you will suddenly be dreaming as you have gone to Chennai or you have gone to Delhi. The body with which you associate yourself in the time of dreams is what I call the Sukshma Sarira, subtle body. This body is Stula Sarira, physical body. The body with which you associate yourself, the dream state, is Sukshma Sarira, subtle body. The third, the body with which you associate yourself, Karana Sarira, causal body. In the deep sleep, the third body is the body with which you associate yourself in the deep sleep state. One is physical body, now what you are experiencing. Second is subtle body, the dream state. Third is causal body, the deep sleep state. But this one body, which I call physical body, is under your control. The other two bodies are not under your control. For example, if I tell you, please lift your right hand, all of you will be able to lift. It's under your control. You can just lift this right hand. And this body you can control, you can handle. But if I tell you all, concentrate your mind on the Anya Chakra, you are not able to do. Why? Because the subtle body is not under your control. The body filled with thoughts is not under your control. Physical body is under your control, but the subtle body is not under your control. The same way, the causal body, sleep is not under your control. Many people are suffering insomnia. Many people are suffering continuous lethargic feeling. Except this physical body, other two bodies are not under your control. Understand this one example. God has given you 99 acres of land, but only 33 acres are under your control. You are using it. Other 66 are just lying waste. There, you are not able to use them. They are filled with some unnecessary things and unwanted things. When you are not able to use 66 acres, not only you are not getting the benefit of it, and all the dirt, bad smell from another 66 acres comes to the land which you are using. Now, in our life also the same thing happens. Not only the subtle and causal body are not useful for you, the bad effect of the subtle and causal body is coming to your physical body. Those bad effects are coming and affecting your physical body. That is the reason you are not able to be totally happy. You are not able to enjoy the physical body which you have. Let us see one by one how the other two bodies interfere with the physical body. First thing, the subtle body, the dream body. Dream body is filled with thoughts which is not under your control. The causal body is filled with tamas, inertia, which is not again under your control. Now I will make a small diagram and explain to you how these bodies work. You can understand, then we will go into the subject deeply. You have two states of consciousness, with the awareness I and without the awareness I. Now you all have the awareness I. In the dream state and in the deep sleep state you don't have the awareness I. You don't feel I. You don't have separate awareness. If you have the awareness, you must be able to control, but you don't have the awareness. Same way, two type of mental states you have, with thoughts, without thoughts. With thoughts, now you have thoughts. Your thoughts are working. But in the dream state, in the deep sleep state, of course, in the dream state you have thoughts. In the deep sleep state you don't have thoughts. Two type of mental states, two type of consciousness you have. They both cross each other. Understand? With thoughts, with the awareness I, the state is called physical state. Now you have thought also and the I awareness also, both. With thoughts will be there, but awareness will not be there. That is called subtle. In the dream state, you will have thoughts, but you will not have the awareness, I. That is what we call subtle state. The third, you will neither have thought nor have awareness. Without thoughts and without awareness. The deep state, the causal body, the deep sleep state, you will neither have your awareness, the I awareness, nor you will have the thought, I. Both are missing. That is what we call causal state, causal body. Of course, this is a little difficult to understand. You will have the thought I, but you will not have any thoughts. You will have the awareness, but you will not have thoughts. That is what we call samadhi. Don't bother about samadhi. If you understand these three, and if you know how to handle this three body, automatically you will enter the samadhi. That we don't have to bother. But now you understand these three body. That is more than enough. Our subject, if you understand this three body, that is more than enough. That will give you the totality. Anybody who is not able to understand this table, please raise your hands. Because based on this only the whole class is going to go. The whole class, today all the 3 sessions are going to happen only based on this table. Please.
Can you do an example on that particular sleep?
Causal. Deep sleep. Deep sleep where when you sleep without any dreams. You neither have a thought I. You neither have any thoughts. You are just there. When you come back, what do you say? It was total darkness. It was totally blank. That's the state, causal body. Deep sleep state. This is a dream state. Where you don't have an awareness I, but thoughts are coming and going. They are just floating.
Dreams also, ultimately suppose you think that in dream I am going to Bangalore, I am going to London, whatsoever. My awareness is there in certain state.
In the subtle state, the moment you get, I am dreaming, you wake up from the dream.
But then I do have the realization that I am being affected.
One thing, when you get that the I is not under your control. If that I is under your control, then you must be able to guide the dream. Here you are able to guide your physical activity. But there, are you able to guide your activity? No. I awareness always gives you the power to guide. So that I cannot be associated with this I. Here the I is very solid. There I is not solid.
What is the I?
The me. The awareness that me.
When you are sleeping, when you come to sleep, then sometimes there is a dream, but you are still sleeping.
Whenever you are dreaming, you are in subtle body. Whenever you fall deeply asleep, you are in causal body. You cannot sleep deeply. You cannot be in causal body more than 14 minutes. Every 14 minutes you come out, you dream, and then again you go back.
Okay. So you
Any
are
of your doctors in the field of psychology and psychiatry, you will know. More than 14 minutes, you cannot sleep. Every 14 minutes, you come out. You wander in the plains of dreams, and then you again go back.
And what if there are no dreams at all?
Yes, then this body is disturbed.
If there are no dreams, the body is disturbed.
If there are more dreams,
If there are no dreams.
no dreams, it means you are healthy. This body is healthy. Sleep with minimum dreams is the healthy state of consciousness.
Sleep one is not conscious. One conscious, I think.
No, he is not. That's what I have put. Without thoughts and without the I, consciousness. There is no consciousness, no thoughts. That is what I call causal body, deep sleep state.
We are now moving on to the 19th of May 2006. On that day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism made a historic visit to Varanasi. He laid the foundation for the Kailasa. Kashi SJP Adhinam. He declared that the Adhinam was going to be the Dhyanapitam center for meditation and tapasya. The Adhinam land in Varanasi is located on the banks of the sacred river Ganges. En route to Varanasi, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism halted in Vrindavan, the place where Lord Krishna lived. Here, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism took a boat ride on the sacred Yamuna in Vrindavan. Following are some pictures taken during the visit. You can also see the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism at the Samadhi of His Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the founder of the Hare Krishna movement. And on the 19th of May 2008, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism presided over the Nithyananda Purnima Day at Adi Kailasa, Bengaluru Adhinam. Parallel on that day, he initiated the devotees and Kailasavasis of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism conducted the Nithyananda Purnima celebrations in Kailasa, Tiruvannamalai, Arunachala Sarvanya Peetham. We are now looking at the 19th of May 2011, where we are seeing the discourse given by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism on the Patanjali Yoga Sutras.
सदाशिवसमारम्भा शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमा अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परा. I welcome you all with my love and respect. Let's enter into today's sutra. In Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, 167th Sutra, in 4th chapter, 5th verse, subject, who is controlling your life? Answer is nobody. Let me enter into Sutra. Pravritti Vede Prayojaka Chittam Ekam Anekasham. Swami Vivekananda says, though the activities of the different created minds are various, the one original mind is the controller of them all. Swami Prabhupada translates as, though the activities of the different created minds are various, the one original mind controls them all. Swami Sachidananda translates as, although the functions in the many created minds may differ, the original mind stuff of the yogi is the director of them all. Bhagavan Osho translates as, though the activities of the many artificial minds vary, the one original mind controls them all. Wow. Amazingly, all the masters' translations are same. There's no much difference. See, the sacred secret in the sutra is, even though you have multi-dimension, the center with which you are either clutched or unclutched controls the whole thing completely. Please understand. It controls the whole thing completely. Either you are schizophrenic, having bipolar disorder or multiple personality, or you are enlightened, multidimensional, creative and intensely active. If you study Bhagavan Krishna and multiple personality disorder with a normal, useless, idiotic, third-rate mind which the psychoanalysts are having, both of them will look same. But only when you are able to look inside, beyond mind, you will see Krishna is the extreme expression of superconsciousness, and these multiple disorder personalities, the extreme expression of unconsciousness. Krishna is the peak, multiple disorder personality is the valley. Let me give you some more deeper understanding. A normal man cannot conceive Radha Krishna and Gita Krishna
Krishna who can sit and flirt with all these milkmaids all day, running around, flirting, jumping, singing, dancing, playing, giving a cute feeling to onlookers. And the other side, giving a reverential feeling to the onlookers. The Gita Krishna is very majestic, gives the reverential feeling to the onlooker. But his Radha Krishna gives the cute feeling to the onlooker. An normal man can't conceive both feelings. Can be expressed two different dimensions of the same person. You can't call Krishna as His Holiness or His Highness or His Majesty. He is all put together. He is His Holiness as Gita Krishna. He is His Highness as the Dwaraka Krishna, King of Dwaraka. Can be called as His Majesty when He sits as the center of the whole Ashwamedha Yajna conducted by Yudhishthira, receiving the first respect. So multiple dimensions. Same way Shiva. You can neither call him a Grihastha, nor call him an householder. Lives all that time in Samadhi, sitting in Kailasa. How can you call him as householder? You may neither call him as a sadhu, nor call him as a householder. You can't put him in any frame. You cannot call him as a silent being, because he is like a Dakshinamurti under the banyan tree. You can't call him as an angry person, because he is beyond anger. So you can't say anything. He can be a Kala Bhairava and Dakshinamurti. I can say the ability to handle multiple personalities without conflict amidst them, among them, is enlightenment. The ability to play. See, the problem is your own personality, even your own self does not believe that you can have multi-dimension. You feel, if I am in this, if I am successful in this, I can't be successful in this. Mind game. Just yesterday I was reading an article. The power of mind game, how it can work on your very body. See, the arthritis patients, their hands are meant to put on a camera. In the screen, their hands are projected. They are seeing their own hands in the large size of the screen. Suddenly in the screen, the scenes are shown as if somebody is pulling their fingers, bending it up, down, length, as if their hands are going through a physiotherapy exercise. You will be shocked. After 10 minutes, people have lost pain. They are able to move their hands freely. Can you imagine? These guys are not done anything. They just put their hands in a camera, on a camera. In the screen, it is projected as if their hands are going through a physiotherapy exercise. These guys just see their hands going through the physiotherapy exercise. Nothing else, just seeing. After 10 minutes, they don't have pain. They can move their hands as it is presented in the screen. Can you imagine the power of mind? You yourself don't believe you can have multi-dimensions. You yourself are struck, or I can say stuck You yourself are stuck with the idea. If you grow in one dimension, you can't grow in another dimension. The idea you are carrying, if you grow in one dimension, you can't do another, is what I call psychological arthritis. Shrinking, shrinking, shrinking. I am seeing in our own organization, the fellow who takes the photograph will be one, the fellow who downloads the photograph will be another one, the fellow who writes the comment on it will be another one, the fellow who uploads it on the website is another one. Why? Third-rate mind. I can only click. I can't download. I can only download. I can't write the 2-3 English lines. I can only write the 2-3 English lines. I can't download. Not growing in multi-dimension means you are growing towards multiple disorder, multiple personality disorder. Because you'll be fighting constantly with yourself. Oh, what will I do? What will I do? What will I do? What will I do? I tell you, I hardwired you when you landed on planet Earth at least to have 108 different dimensions. Understand? 108 different dimensions. At least. Unfortunately, people neither grow their multi-dimensions nor they don't even bother about expansion. See, understand? The expansion is no way connected to the wealth. It is connected to your understanding. See, in our ashram, we don't have any problem. If somebody is expanding in certain dimension, to support them with all the infrastructure they need. But I am seeing very clearly it's a mental disorder, mental arthritis. If somebody wants to grow in the line of building a website, in one moment we have a whole infrastructure, whether it's a laptop, internet connection, everything is available. If somebody wants to expand themselves in the line of temple, we have a whole infrastructure available. Somebody wants to expand themselves in the line of teaching. We have the whole infrastructure available. We have everything ready. It's the mind. Understand? Experiencing the multi-dimension is no way related to money or opportunity. It is related to your mental setup and your will. That's all, nothing else. Becoming a leader is a simple conscious will, nothing else. Becoming a multi-dimensional leader is just conscious will. Patanjali says in the sutra, it is your one single personality which controls the whole thing. So learn to unclutch from that personality. When you are able to unclutch, the controlling will be perfect and spontaneous, automatic. You will not feel suffocated. The controlling will be based on understanding. It will not even be controlling, just an understanding. Your relationship with your higher self and your relationship with the world is one and the same. If you are clutched with your higher self, you will be clutched with the world and suffering throughout. If you are unclutched with your higher self, you will have a tremendous devoted connection. And same way, you will have a tremendous devoted connection with the world. Having tremendous devoted connection with the world is what I call freedom. You only have two options. Either your multi-dimensions constantly feel if one grows, the other cannot grow and fights itself. And not only that, sometimes you feel to be enlightened, all dimensions need to be destroyed, and you go on destroying all dimensions. That's what people sometimes feel. If I have to become enlightened, I should not create wealth. I should completely destroy my wealth creating ambition and dimension. No. Bill Gates is more closer to enlightenment than the Bandra Aslan boy. Understand? Of course, the Bandra Aslan boy is ready to expand this dimension of creating wealth. He will also go towards enlightenment. If you think creating wealth, if I work on the dimension of creating wealth, I will be losing enlightenment, you are wrong. You are wrong. My great grandfather, great Siddha, Pulipani, whose family had the fortune of taking birth, sings very beautifully in one verse. I'm trying to translate. Your whole system is like a pipeline connected to one part. If that part is filled with nectar, all pipelines will receive nectar. If that part is filled with poison, all pipelines will receive poison. You cannot say only one dimension your being also is also like that. All your different minds are different multi-dimension, different pipelines. The main part is your center consciousness. If your center consciousness is awakened, all pipelines, all your multi-dimensions will be awakened and successful. I have decided every important truth I reveal. I will send the energy also to program your inner self with the truth. Let the Vani, Sarasavani, Saraswati flows through this tongue. Program your inner being also. See your body. You always carry in media. Your limit is only this much. Break that idea by doing more. For example, if you feel you can lift only 10 kg, lift 15 kg and break that idea that your body is limited. Same way, if your mind says, I can work only 8 hours a day, for next 3 months take it up as a sadhana, work for 12 hours and break that idea. Breaking yourself free and opening all dimensions is what is the sacred secret you need to learn in this sutra. Then automatically you will have such a deep, devoted, grateful, gratitude-based connection towards the center core of your personality, which is the higher self, God. All the different dimensions of Shiva, Kala Bhairava, Veerabhadra, Chandeshanada, Gajasamhara Murti, Lingodbhava, all different dimensions of Shiva, Chakradhana Murti, Nataraja, all different dimensions of Shiva are controlled by center dimension, Dakshinamurti, the silent, energetic presence. Same way, you also have multiple dimensions, and the center of you, which is your higher self, super consciousness, controls the whole thing. Expand and express all your different multiple dimensions. You will experience Shiva in your consciousness. When he goes to destroy Brahma's ego, he is Kalavaya. When he goes to destroy Daksha's Yajna, he is Virabhadra. When he goes to bless Vishnu with a Sri Chakra, Sudarshana Chakra, he is Chakradana Murti. When he gives Pasubhata to Arjuna, he is Pasubhadana Grahamurti. When he blesses his servant Chandeshwara, he is Chandeshana Grahamurti. Different dimensions of Shiva. When he sits under the banyan tree to give enlightenment to Sanagadi Rishis, he is Dakshinamurti. When he appears as a light shaft to destroy the ego of Brahma and Vishnu, he is a Ligodbhava. Some of the important truths not only need to be understood, need to be experienced. This multi-dimension, you should start experiencing. Just start trying to do some poetry. Start trying to do some small carvings. You don't need to get a Nobel Prize. Who is going to give? Nobody is interested. Relax. You don't need to worry about perfection. Just trying. Try different dimensions of you. That is why we say Shiva has taken 64 forms to express 64 arts. All the 64 arts are 64 dimensions of you. Even a normal man, to be a perfect human being, should be able to express 64 dimensions. But as a mystic, you should be able to express at least 108 dimensions. When the non-mechanical parts of your brain is alive, you will be perfectly radiating at least 108 dimensions. So try to express the multiple dimensions. The naturally the energy which controls you inside, all your multiple dimensions, you will have a beautiful relationship with it. You will experience the ultimate experience being a yogi. I bless you all for sitting with us at this moment, at least in 396 places in two-way connection. Through NT and 5 places in two-way connection. Of course, all are sitting in two-way connection only. I can see all of them. I bless you all to achieve, experience, live, express, radiate and share the eternal bliss. Nithyananda. Thank you.
We are now looking at the 19th of May 2012. In the presidential address, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism intercepted the Akashic records of the fourth chapter, 30th verse of the Bhagavad Gita. From this grand cosmic download and the re-happening of the Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism continued his instruction on self-remembrance. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism explained that when we offer all our actions to prana, to the ability to recall what we are, we gain immense benefit even from very small effort. At first, we may find it difficult to maintain this conscious recollection and still engage in the activities of daily life. But with repetition, we can strengthen our skills and ultimately we are successful. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism further shared that keeping a journal of each activity, driving to work, taking a meeting, allowing us to gauge our progress. During the 20-minute drive, did we remember the self for each of those 20 minutes? By tracking our focus throughout the day, we polish and perfect our practice. Let us now see this beautiful satsang given by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism.
How much ever it may be demanding, without losing yourself completely centered, being centered in enchanting, feeling connection and unclutching. That is what Krishna means, offering all your actions into prana. Please understand. Here prana means the ability of self-remembrance, ability of being spiritual centered, enlightenment centered, atma centric, higher self centered. That is what is exactly meant by the word prana. All you need to do, let the whole day, your routine, your life be centered on this self-remembrance, these three actions: enchanting, feeling connection, unclutching. Whole day. Unfortunately, some of your actions demand your complete attention, emotion, complete involvement. Even during those actions, start empowering the moments of remembrance. Please understand. Start empowering. Many of your actions may demand your whole attention. In the beginning, it may not be that easily possible for you to be centered on unclutching and enchanting and feeling connection. But I tell you, any activity, any action is possible being centered on prana just by little practice. That is why Krishna says in another one Bhagavad Gita verse, even little bit of practice of this great science brings huge benefit. It's like billions of rupees worth diamonds and gold is there in one room. You are doing only one small action, opening the room. You would have never imagined just that small action of opening the room will make you rich in 1 minute. You would have never imagined such huge benefit will come by such a small action of opening the room. It was there in that room for ages. Just now you got the key, you opened it, suddenly you saw, wow, it is all yours. Many times, small actions you do does not bring big benefits. So you don't trust the small actions can bring big benefits. But rarely small actions do bring big benefits. This action, the action of being prana centered, even if it is small, practiced very little, it brings huge benefits, great benefits. And I tell you, you will become so alive and productive. If you take 4 days of vacation and not being productive constantly, you are equivalent to dead. Now all we need to do is just put little more mud on your head and cover it. You already have clay in your brain. You just need little more mud to cover your body.
We are now looking at the 19th of May 2014. In that day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism expanded on living Advaita. He started by explaining that the body is intelligent as long as the consciousness resides in it, and that everything we understand should be from the context of consciousness. He encouraged us to be powerful and make spontaneous decisions through consciousness and let the body and mind understand eternity from the context of consciousness. Later that day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism took the delegates to a visit to the Kalabhairava Mandir in Varanasi. On 19th of May 2015, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism conducted the day 15 of the Inner Awakening in Varanasi. Later that day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism visited the Triveni Sangam in the city of Allahabad, Uttar Pradesh, India. And on the 19th of May 2016, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism conducted the day 13 of the Living Shuddhatvetam Convention in the Ujjainadinam as part of the most auspicious and holiest event of Kumbh Mela. On the 19th of May 2017, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism conducted the orientation Shivatva 2017 orientation program, and the participants shared about their journeys with Swamiji and why they made the decision to live in his home, the Nithyananda Peetham. And on 19th of May 2021, the ambassadors and delegates of the Kailasa nation received the Shaktipada and Shaktinipada with the live darshan of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. He conducted the Devi Parashakti Akashic reading in Tamil for the whole of humanity. And with that, we come to the end of this beautiful Devi Parashakti Akashic series. And let us now get ready for the alive satsang of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Please sit straight. And we will now be receiving the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism.
Paramashiva's message directly from Kailasa. Listen. The existence of the super consciousness consciously, powerfully reflecting into your conscious existence and your conscious existence recognizing your possibilities and powers of your superconscious existence is superconscious mutation. I wanted to make it very clear. This word mutants is misunderstood all over the world, especially the Hollywood movies and TV serials. The way they project the idea mutants, that is not the way Hinduism reveals about the conscious mutation. Please understand. The Hollywood movies and TV serials, what they talk about mutants is people with extra power, but not enlightenment or the intelligence, compassion to handle the power, compassion to handle the responsibility. It is more like a unconscious mutants from the lower worlds. Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Patala. The lower worlds. That concept only is presented in Hollywood movies and TV series like a Heroes, a New Heroes TV series. All these presents almost kind of a frightening depiction about the mutants. Completely forget about that. Understand what Hindu Shastras, Hindu scriptures, Vedas and Agamas, Puranas talk about superconscious mutation. From the vertical time zone, the higher conscious beings, people who achieved superconsciousness, those beings, their superconsciousness, when that reflects in your individual conscious existence, you start manifesting great enlightenment, intelligence, compassion, highest order of human values and divine qualities. With those jnana, buddhi, higher values, you start manifesting powers, extraordinary shaktis. Please understand. In India, even 200 years before, this was a lifestyle. Every village will have few Shatavadanis. Shatavadani means a person who can perform 100 acts at a time. Please understand. Great Vedic scholars in Hindu tradition developed these powers, possibilities through the superconscious mutation. Through this superconscious mutation, they could perform 100 acts at a time because all their non-mechanical parts of the brain was awakened through this superconscious mutation process. I want all of you to know elaborately our Hindu scriptures, history, books have documented. Puranas are not mythology or myth, it's a history. They have documented these superconscious mutants, people who had the superconscious mutation experience. The Panchapandavas' birth itself is a superconscious mutation. Kundi received the power to make the superconscious beings give their DNA and give birth to kids through their DNA. She brought Surya's DNA with the blessing of Surya. That superconscious mutant is Karana. Till the end, his great value, the greatest value of Surya is just giving, giving, giving. Giving radiance is his very nature. Anything Karna had, he just gave, gave, gave. The quality of giving, radiating, could never be removed from Karna because he is from the DNA of Surya, the greatest giver, Bhaskara, radiating. He gave his very life. He is the extraordinary giver. Then Kundi brought the DNA of Yamadharma Raja, Yama, who is the Lord of natural law, Dharma, and gave birth to a child in the same signs of superconscious mutation. Till the end, Dharma. Yudhishthira never violates Dharma. The way he upheld Dharma is unimaginable. It's because superconscious mutation. Then comes Bhima. It's a superconscious being, Vayu. His DNA was brought, and Vayu's very DNA, superconscious mutation has been done, and Bhima was born. The power Bhima radiated, the power of Vayu Bhagavan, the power Bhima radiated is unimaginable. Arjuna is the superconscious mutant of Indra. Then Nahula and Sahadeva, they are the superconscious mutants of Ashwini Kumaras. These great beings are all superconscious mutants. Understand? Our Idihasas, Puranas elaborately document these superconscious mutation and the signs of superconscious mutation. There's an elaborate description of the 7 enlightenment cities, Kashi, Kanchi, Madura, all these 7 Mayapuri, all these 7 enlightenment cities each having the population of 10,000 Sahasravatanis, 1 lakh Shadavatanis. Sahasravatani means who can perform 1,000 action at a time. Sadavadani means who can perform 100 action at a time. Please understand, what I am talking is not story. Even as recently as now, there are documentation in Mohal's court where they start awarding Shatavadanis. They start giving awards to Shatavadanis. There are documentation. In front of the court, people performed this 100 acts at a time. Forget all of that. Even now, in Andhra, the Telugu Brahmins community, they are keeping this tradition of avatanis alive. The living stream is not dead. It is there still. It's there. Shodasavadanis, Ashtavadanis, still the tradition is there. In Andhra, the Telugu Brahmins tradition, and even the Telugu Brahmins who came and settled in the banks of Kaveri in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. All the 3, Godavari, Karnataka, Kaveri in Karnataka, Kaveri in the Tamil Nadu. In all 3 places, the Telugu Brahmins who came and settled are still keeping these Avadani traditions alive. Actually, there's an elaborate description how these rivers were energized with the superconscious energy for these Avadani traditions to be kept alive. The Ganga was used for Sahasravatana, Sahasravatanis, people who can perform 1,000 acts. They settled in Kashmir and Kashi. Then the next level, people who can perform little less than 1,000, but around 900. They settled in Yamuna. And you need to know, after the Ganga and Yamuna, people who can perform above 500, but less than 900. That group settled near Godavari. That is why when we describe the rivers and worship, Gange cha Yamune chaiva Godavari Saraswati. Saraswati does not come third, Godavari comes third. Then comes Saraswati. Gange cha Yamune chaiva Godavari Saraswati Narmade Sindhu Kaveri. It was different settlement of different Avadanis. There's an elaborate description of how these Avadanis are trained and how this science was kept alive. Avadani's training is one of the aspects of superconscious mutation. More than Avadanis, another important aspect of superconscious mutation is ability to use the astras. Ability to use the different organs, senses. Listen. Ability to use different organs and senses. That superconscious mutation is Avadanis. you will have an extraordinary capacity to smell, think, write poetry, recollect the numbers, names uttered, means the Jnanendriya, Karmendriya, Manas, Chitta, Buddhi, memory, everything will be fully active, alive, intensely, simultaneously, spontaneously, synergetically. That is what is the definition of being an avatani. All your jnanendriyas and karmendriyas. Jnanendriya means the organs in your system which receives information and processes. Karmendriya means organs in your system which performs actions. Jnanendriyas and karmendriyas and the internal organs who are responsible for jnanendriyas and karmendriyas to be fully active and alive. Sorry for using too many Sanskrit terms. I'll try to translate every Sanskrit term I'm using and give English meaning. The knowledge receptors and action performers, these two organs, for example, tongue, when it tastes, it is called jnanendriya. When it speaks, it is called karmendriya. Same tongue, when it performs the action of receiving the taste and processing that information, it's called jnanendriya. The same tongue, when it performs the action of talking, it's called karmendriya. Like that, the jnanendriyas and karmendriyas and the internal organs which are responsible for these jnanendriyas and karmendriyas to be active. For example, liver. Only if your liver is absolutely detoxed and fully active, you will have a deep ability to coordinate all the actions. Please understand, coordination of all the actions needs not just the support of the brain, it needs the support of your liver. Because your liver is responsible for all your internal organs functioning smoothly. So, the avadani has to keep his whole body detoxed. If you are an avadani, you will automatically keep your body detoxed. Only if you are detoxed, you will be able to be an avadani. Keeping all your karmendriyas, jnanendriyas and internal organs active, alive, simultaneously, spontaneously, synergetically, in a synced way, is called avadana. I myself have seen an avadani who can smell, listen to the music, taste some of the food items, and hear the numbers, flower names, various other names being uttered, and see the scenes in front of him, which is constantly changed, various paintings, mix all this and sing poetry without missing the order. He can see everything, listen everything, and during this whole process, somebody will be touching his back with peacock feather at various points. He will narrate this whole thing in a poetic way without missing the order. This multiple performance avadanis is one aspect of superconscious mutation. Then the next, using shastras. That is what now I am making Suvignana master. See, in Shankara's history, if you see Adi Shankara's history, two of his disciples never studied anything. Totakacharya, Bhatmapada. They just served him. Just by superconscious mutation, he made both of them Shastravadanis. Shastravadanis, like Sahasra Avadanis on Shastra. Sahasra Avadanis means they can perform 1,000 actions at a time. Shastra centered. He made both of them Sarvanyas. What Mandana Mishra did through the self effort, his whole life, Adi Shankara gave it through superconscious mutation to Todaka and Bhatmapada Acharyas, just like that. Sarvanyatva can be transmitted through the initiation. And Sahasravadana of Shastras can be transmitted just like that. Adi Shankara has demonstrated it. Then Sahasravadanis of Shastras. How do you think Drona to transmit this whole science to all the students in short period, especially the capacities of Arjuna, Bhima? If you see all their capacities, unimaginable capacities cannot come by training. It is only the science of superconscious mutation. Just within 7 years, Karna receives everything including Brahmastram from Parasurama. How? It's impossible by training, but only through the superconscious mutation. Understand? Superconscious mutation is a science. There are 25 branches of Sahasravatana, performing 1,000 actions at a time centered on organs. This tradition is kept alive in the Telugu Brahmins community who settled in the banks of Godavari and Kaveri. Understand what I am saying? Even now, There's a living stream, at least few people. We have Shodasavadanis, means who can perform 16 actions at a time. I want to tell you, put this on record, how the invaders of India destroyed this Avadani tradition. They understood these Avadanis are the powerful people keeping this Hindu tradition alive. So these invaders started rewarding the Avadanis. Everyone thought, why will award and reward Avadanis? Hindus. Because all these Hindu Avadanis have started coming out openly, publicly to receive the award and reward. They collected everyone and finished them off once for all. That is the way the living stream of the Avadanis were destroyed by the invaders. Understand? But one good news I have for you, all of you, is fortunately, this Avadani, the superconscious mutation, is done in the DNA level. If the Telugu Brahmin DNA is available, Telugu Brahmin kids are available, that is enough. I can reinitiate them, revive the whole Avadani tradition, which is what I am doing through our Gurukul. This is the good news we have. The Gotra of Avadanis, the Telugu Brahmins who carry this Avadanis DNA. If the child is initiated, into power manifestation, immediately he reclaims, his DNA is awakened, and the whole Avadana powers starts manifesting. The superconscious mutation starts happening. Shrikant Iyer is sending a message. His family also, there are Avadanis. Shrikant Iyer, you are a Tamil Brahmin. That is not called Avadanis. That is a different science. It is yogic powers. Please understand. The Telugu Brahmins kept the Avadana tradition alive. Tamil Brahmins kept the Mantra Shastra alive. The Avadanis which you are talking, Shrikant Iyer, your family, you are actually Tamil Brahmin, means the Tanjavur Brahmins, Tambra's family. Hope I am right. And people who carry that Iyer title, that DNA, your Avadanatva is manifested through Mantra Shastra. Fundamentally, the Tamil Brahmins Avadana tradition, that superconscious mutation is Shastra centered. The Telugu Brahmins Avadana tradition is organ centered. Karmendriya, Jnanendriya centered power is the Telugu Brahmins Avadana tradition. The Tamil Brahmins, see, I don't want to create any conflict or community fight here. I am just putting all these things in record. Whatever I saw in the Akashic records and Shastras and the traditions and books, I am putting it on record. The Tamil Brahmins have the Sahasravatana capacity, Shastra centered. Once the Tamil Brahmin boy or a girl goes through a superconscious mutation, he can perform Avadana on any Shastras. On any Shastras. A Shastra centric Avadana performance Sahasravadana performance, science was kept alive, focused by Tamil Brahmins. Please understand, it's not that Tamil Brahmins never studied the Avadana tradition of Telugu Brahmins, but each of them took up one branch and kept it alive. And Shastra centered Avadana tradition, Shastra means weapon, Shastra, Astra centered Avadana tradition was kept alive by Parasurama's Gotra in UP. The whole UP area, the modern day Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand, in that area, the Parasurama's Gotra is still alive. They have that Sahasravadana tradition centered on Shastras and Astras. Still, I have seen one Brahmin sadhu who can pick up a grass and chant a mantra and throw that grass, it will catch fire by itself and go and fall some 20-30 kilometers away and blast. I have seen a sadhu who can perform this avadana. Please understand, the organ-centric superconscious mutation avadani tradition was kept alive in Telugu Brahmin stream, Shastra-centric, mantra-centric, Sahasravadana tradition was kept alive by Tamil Brahmins, and Astra Shastra, weapon-centric Avadana was kept alive by the Parashurama's Gotra in UP and Uttarakhand, the modern day Uttar Pradesh and UP, the UP, Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand. And Ramesh Ramani is sending a message that they are Telugu Brahmins, and one of his great-grandmother has written the Ramayana on wall. Oh God. Actually, these are living, what to say, that living documentations. I am getting so many messages. And Nitya Ramani is saying that Isha and Keshav are of Telugu Brahmins. Can they be initiated, Swamiji? Please understand, for the superconscious mutation, they have to be in a Gurukul. And Nitya Ramani, if you want 2 kids for the family, keep Isha and Keshav. Now plan to give birth to more kids. And you are young, you are not old. You are young, you can. Give birth at least 2 to 3 kids more. Send them to Gurukul because it needs a full attention for their DNA to fully manifest. Mainly the ecosystem where they continue every day, they have to manifest powers. Their food. You need to understand, Nitya Ramani, because you asked, I am telling you, the lifestyle and the kind of words people utter around, all that plays a major role when a child flowers into Avadani. The fear and greed, everything should be centered on power manifestation, not on money manifestation. See, it is not that our Gurukul kids don't have fear or don't have greed, but it is all centered on power manifestation. They get greedy to manifest more powers. They get fear if they don't manifest powers. But it is not centered on money. Oh, will I get a job? Will I get this certificate? Will I get that? So understand, the whole life has to be focused on power manifestation and becoming avadanis. The real reason why I am so focused on Gurukul is my work is not just writing some 1,000 books, giving 1,000 satsangs. My work is super conscious mutation, making thousands and thousands of avadanis, power manifestors, demonstrably. Please understand one more thing. I want to put this whole thing on record. Revive that power of Sahasravadani. So Nithyaramani, first thing, you are young, you are not old. Both of you are young. You can plan for at least 2 or 3 more kids and send them to Gurukul after the age of 7. This will be equivalent to giving $1 billion to Hindu society. Understand? When you give one child to Gurukul and when he starts manifesting powers, a tradition is revived. Not just one person. A tradition is revived. I always tell people, when one Hindu woman is taken away, it is not that we lose one woman, a whole lineage is lost. Same way, if the one child, Brahmin child, or one Brahmin girl starts manifesting this avatana powers, it is not that one girl or one boy is manifesting. The whole gotra, the whole order, the tradition, the heritage, that whole lineage is revived. The kids who are staying in their home with parents, I can initiate them, give them few powers. But becoming like a Sahasravatani, you need the ecosystem where the kids manifest these powers intensely. I wanted to tell all of you who put the message now, Ramesh Ramani, Nithya Ramani, Shrikant Iyer, all of you, take this very seriously. One child from the Brahmin tradition, Brahmin DNA, please understand, I am not a casteist person. All of you should know, I myself is not a Brahmin DNA. I am from Adishevalalar community. So you should know that I am not a casteist person, and I talk so much about social justice, and I work for the social justice. Here I am talking about the biology of the superconscious mutation. I am not talking about the social community structure. I am talking about the biology of the superconscious mutation. So understand, if one Brahmin child becomes part of the Gurukul, and he starts manifesting powers and Sarvanyatva, and he starts manifesting this Avadanitva. Not just the one child, the whole lineage is revived. Hindus need to realize last 300 years, heavy persecution, huge effort was put to destroy this Avadani science, the superconscious mutation science, because this is the core of Hinduism. Core of Hinduism is not just in Shastras, not just in temples. All that is great. Keeping it alive, all that is container. Content is the superconscious mutation process. Understand, I am not disrespecting Shastras or the temples. No way. But all I am telling you is Shastras and temples are all containers. See, when invaders invaded India, they burnt libraries, whole thing. Some of our libraries was burning for 2 years. Around 20 million books, manuscripts have been burnt. But the whole thing was rewritten within next 10 years by just 10 Brahmins sitting in a remote forest, because in their DNA the whole thing is programmed, and in their memory the whole thing is there. They just sit and go on writing. Patanjali himself says, I took my 1,000-headed Patanjali Adisesha farm and wrote this whole Mahabhashya. It means he became the Sahasravatani, the 1,000 independent, intelligent brain tracts. He activated it, and all the whole 1,000 track revealed all the 1,000 branches of the knowledge. Patanjali is the Tamil Brahmin who is a Sahasravatani, mantra, Shastra-centric Sahasravatani. Is the Tanjore Brahmin. Shastra-centric Sahasravatani. He reveals the whole Mahabhashya. So if you just have one Patanjali, even if 1,000 libraries are burnt, no problem. They will repeat it and rewrite it, pen the whole thing down in next 10 years. That is the way, even though millions of temples are destroyed and the libraries got burnt, we immediately came back. We immediately revived the whole thing in next generation, within next generation. Now is the time to revive not just the Avadani science of organ-centric, mantra-centric, Shastra and Shastra-centric, all the 25 branches of Avadani tradition. Sahasravatana in all 25 branches, the mantra, power manifestation. Power manifestation, Shakti Avishkarana is one of the science branches. We can create kids who can perform 1,000 power manifestation at a time. Sahasravatana at a time. I can talk about all these things. With Paramashiva's grace, I have a right to talk about all these things because I already demonstrated many things which I am talking. Understand? The organ-centric Sahasravatana. That is what is this remote vision, ability to read blindfolded, and Shastra-centric, Sahasravatana. That is what is that any book without opening the eyes, the kids can just tell what is there in which page. Already Nithyananda demonstrated this power multiple times. Sarvanyatva, not just Nithyananda, many kids along with Nithyananda demonstrated this power multiple times. And Astra-centric, Astra-Shastra-centric, Sahasravatana. This comes under this materialization. Many other power manifestations come under this Astra and Shastra-centric Sahasravatana. You can receive anything you want and send anything you want. Many of these powers, these Avadana traditions, these sciences I have demonstrated. Now, through a large scale Gurukul, I'll be taking this whole science to the whole world. See, the good news I have for all of you is, with the grace of Paramashiva, we demonstrated it is possible. Already revived. The foolproof. The methodology is success. End to end. The quality control pass. That is done. Now we will have to make it available to the whole world by making large numbers. Like 10,000 balasans. 10,000 female sannyasinis. 10,000 rudraganyas. Manifesting these different Avadana traditions. That is what we have to do, and that is what I am doing. That is what I am focused, and I know what all the dangers and attacks possible, what all the persecution, dangers and attacks possible. I am first doing all the protection needed to protect once I start doing this work. To understand, the grace of Paramashiva, we will do it, and he is doing it. He is really doing it. He is doing great work in large scale. Great work in large scale. I am just creating the infrastructure needed to host these thousands of kids, thousands of Gurukul Balasans, thousands of sannyasis, Rudraganyas, Apat sannyasis, who will work on the superconscious mutation, start manifesting these powers. I'm just working. So understand, by the time I evolve these infrastructures, all of you who put the message, Shrikant, Nithyaramani, Ramesh Ramani, all of you, you guys plan for getting more and more Brahmin kids. Your very DNA which you want to revive. Start working. If you feel, oh, it is little late for me, Swamiji, especially Ramesh Ramani may say, I think Swamiji, it is little late for me. But no problem. You have daughters, you have sons and daughters. You tell your daughters to give birth. Let the next generation. See, if possible, you give birth. If not, your sons and your daughters. Ask them. If you want to 2 child for your family, have 2 for you, and give few more kids birth to at least 2-3 more, and let that child go and be part of the Gurukul and revive the Sanatana Hindu Dharma. I tell you, sending a child to the Gurukul will be equivalent to donating $1 billion to Hindu society. Because even if you give $1 billion, what will I do? I have to find a living DNA, kids, who will go through the superconscious mutation process and manifest this to the world. I can do all the Sahasravatana, but one person doing, maybe it will bring glory to me, but I am interested in bringing the glory to the whole Hindu tradition, not just me. I am interested in reviving this whole tradition where 10,000 kids perform the superconscious mutation process of Sahasravatana. I want all the Brahmins to know, especially if you are from a family where alcohol and non-veg is not a lifestyle, where still you keep the Brahminical traditions alive, you are carrying something extraordinary in your DNA which can revive Hinduism. So I request the Brahmins, especially still who are living the Brahminical lifestyle of no non-veg, no alcohol, that lifestyle. You all need to know you are carrying something extraordinary in your DNA, and your kids not only can be the greatest gift for reviving Hinduism, they can be greatest gift for the whole humanity. Sonali Gupta is asking, what was the Kashmir Avatani tradition? Kashmir Avatani tradition was power manifestation science. On power manifestation, Shakti Avishkarana. If you see the whole Kashmiri Shaivite tradition, it was all about the power manifestation, Shakti Avishkarana. They were able to perform, manifest 1,000 powers at a time. Sahasravatana on Shakti Avishkarana tradition. See, a university, Hindu university, this is the way it existed. Fortunately, I could get the blueprint of at least 12 universities that existed. Tarukavanam. Tarukavanam is one of the greatest Hindu university where the rewriting of all the Puranas happened. The Tarukavana rishis. And then the Kadambavanam. Kadambavanam is around the Madurai. There was a university. Madurai was called Kadambavanam, and around the Madurai, one university. And Vedaranyam. Vedaranyam, forest of Vedas in Tamil Nadu. Vedaranyam. And Kanchi. Like that, different universities, blueprints I got. Fortunately, Paramashiva gave access to me. In that, I saw all these universities had 25 branches of Sahasravatanis. People who can perform 1,000 actions spontaneously, simultaneously, synergetically. Because of the superconscious mutation, either centered on organs, or centered on Shastras, scriptures, or centered on Shakti Avishkarana, power manifestation, or centered on Astra Shastra Vidyas. Like this 25 branches, the metallurgy and arts, the whole Vishwakarma Sampradaya. Understand, we had Vishwakarmas who can perform 1,000 act at a time on the science of sacred arts. Vishwakarmas are called Vishwakarma Brahmins. You should know that. They are Brahmin DNA. That was one of the branch in the 25 branches of the university. With Paramashiva's grace, we will revive all the 25 branches. Sahasravadanis in each branch, at least few thousand kids, so that it is kept alive forever in the future. I have already demonstrated the grace of Paramashiva, the science Paramashiva gave to me is working. I have already demonstrated. Now I just needed to scale it up. And I also realized what all the external attacks and internal attacks possible. When I scale it up, based on that, I am creating an infrastructure where once we start doing it, we will not need to waste our time in defending ourselves from the external attacks and internal attacks. We have a complete foolproof system where there is no attacks. We are absolutely safe. With the grace of Paramashiva, he has already given us that kind of a legal political structure. Now we are just making infrastructure. And this is what is the real revival of enlightened civilization. Conscious civilization. And I know now what I said, what I focused, and what I delivered is too much even to grasp. These Avadani traditions which I described, 4 different Avadani traditions. Organ-centered, mantra-centered, Shastra-Astra-centered, sacred arts centered. Just understanding this 4 itself, you need to watch this satsang at least for 10 days. And you should first of all understand Avadani. You should see few Avadanis. Only then you will understand what is this Avadani tradition. Only if you see my Gurukul Balasans manifesting some 10-12 powers, you will understand this power manifestation is possible. Till then you can never understand. You may think, no, it is not possible. It is all just humbug. You can go on. But only if you see, check for yourself, foolproof, you will understand, wow, it is all true. Same way, only if you see few Avadanis, you will understand. The Avadani tradition is possible. Is possible. and understand all these various Avadani traditions. Totally 25 different Avadani traditions existed in Hinduism, documented as the documents I could see. Whatever documents I could see, I saw these 25 traditions. So I am going to revive this 25, and Paramashiva has blessed me with the knowledge, ability, energy, Kundalini Shakti to perform the superconscious mutation for all these 25 traditions. In these 25 traditions, each one represents one face of Paramashiva. One face of Paramashiva represents one Avadani tradition. Avadani is a person who can perform multiple acts simultaneously, spontaneously, synergetically. Because of the superconscious mutation happened in him. It can be in the field of organs. It can be in the field of Shastra scriptures. It can be in the field of power manifestation, Shakti Avishkarana. It can be in the field of Sthapatya Veda, sacred arts. Sthapatya Veda. It can be in the field of food and medicine, Ayurveda, Ayush Veda. Food and medicine both are considered as the same branch in Hindu tradition. Food and medicine was not separate. It was one and the same in Hindu tradition. And all these 25 branches, with the grace of Paramashiva, we will be reviving through the superconscious mutation process. Paramashiva himself is here to do this work, to do this job. All the major Hindu universities we had, Naimisharanya, Tarukavana, Katambavana, Vedaranya, all these were the great universities which had all these 25 traditions, 25 Sarvanya Pitas. Understand? Temples, monasteries, gurukuls, libraries, all of them are containers. Content is this superconscious mutation process. Especially if you are from a Brahmin community who's still living the Brahminical traditional lifestyle of no non-veg and no alcohol. Actually, if you don't do Gayatri, if you don't do Sandhya Vandanam, if you don't do Agnihotra Mandala also is okay. I'm not saying don't do. Even if you have not performed all of that is also okay, because that can be just revived. But the non-veg and alcohol and drugs directly affects the very DNA structure. The capacity of the DNA is lost if you allow non-veg and alcohol and drugs. If you have kept non-veg, alcohol, drugs away and lived the Brahminical lifestyle, if you just keep these three away, that Brahminical lifestyle will be more than enough. You are still carrying a powerful DNA which can be a great blessing not only for Hindus, for the whole world. Because if you give one child, for example, Paramesha, Shri Advait and Mahadvait gave Paramesha and Tattva to Gurukul, especially Paramesha. The way he started manifesting powers when he was a kid, it is not that now he is only one sannyasi or one kid, one balasant manifesting powers. He is going to revive, inspire a lineage. I am giving an example. If he becomes a Pitadipati, once fully able to perform Sahasravatana, 1000 actions, he can easily perform 50 at least right now. 50 power manifestation he can perform right now, simultaneously, spontaneously, synergetically. I just need to support him with an ecosystem, and it will be just hardly 2-3 years work for him to become 1000 Sahasravatani in power manifestation, in Shakti Avishkarana. Because he's a Tamil Brahmin, the Tanjavur Brahmin DNA, he will be naturally centered on mantra, the Shastra, scripture centric Sahasravatani, that he will naturally manifest with the power manifestation. Because power manifestation directly I am giving. So you will be able to do both, like a power manifestation Sahasravatana and mantra, Shastra manifestation Sahasravatana. Both you will be able to easily perform. So when he does that, if he becomes a Pidadipati, a sannyasi, he will be inspiring millions of the next generation to become sannyasis and take the science forward. If he decides to become Grihastha, when he grows up and if he decides he wants to get married, at least his whole family and the lineage, that Karuvali Parambarai, will start carrying the same awakened superconscious mutation DNA. Anyway, he will be blessing for the world. If he takes up Grihastha, he will be making few kids manifesting. If he becomes sannyasi, he will be making few thousand kids manifesting this Sahasravatana. That's all. Understand? What I am talking is a clear Paramashiva's blueprint. He will do it. He is doing it. He is doing it. I tell you, the real work is all about super conscious mutation. Actually, when Paramesha had a fracture in the hand, it is because of my fear for Madhvait and Rishiyadvait, I sent him to hospital. If there was no interference of Madhvait and Rishiyadvait, I would not have sent him to hospital. Because I know how to heal it simply, just by the superconscious mutation. But Madhvait is terrorized. What can I do? I have to be legally right as per the Indian law. So I said, all right, take him to hospital and do what need to be done. I only consciously supported him. if I did not have Mahadvaita, Rishi Advaita's interference, all it would have taken for me is 10 minutes to remove the pain, next 10 minutes to make the bone set. And after half an hour, I'll tell them, hey, now take the X-ray and show that it's all clear. The X-ray will prove he's all right, it's all clear. That's it. No question of any other things needed. Because this Avadana tradition, when the superconscious mutation starts happening inside a child, he gets the power to manifest the body as he wants. Paramesha did not have pain when he had a fracture, his connection with me. But he has to be sent to hospital for medical attention is because of Mahadvaita and Rishi Advaita's fears. Middle class Hindus, what to do? For last 5-6 generations, even they do not know that this kind of avadana is possible, and even they have not seen their parents or great-grandparents manifesting these powers. At least 3-4 generations it is gone. So they are all jittery, shaky middle-class Hindus. Always they want to have a plan B, that fallback. And it is not their mistake. That is the way now, because for so many generations you did not see all this is possible. Forget about Mahadvaita, Rishi Advaita, Paramesha getting medically treated. When I had the fracture, not only I did not have pain, but finally no hospital was ready to do the surgery without anesthesia. I am telling, hey, I am an adult. I will write and give you that I don't want anesthesia. You perform the surgery directly. Actually, I did not even want to go to the allopathy hospital. I want to go to the Puttur. In Tamil Nadu, there is a place called, sorry, not Tamil Nadu, Andhra. There is a place called Puttur, Nagari Puttur, where the Sahasravadanis of medical field, in that one branch is still alive. Any kind of fracture, they will cure it without any surgery in 10 days. From all over the world, people come there. I want to go there actually. But these guys were constantly, these doctors, no, we cannot discharge you from the hospital and it has to be done within next few hours. All this big mess. And I thought, oh God, even I have to be legally obedient. Obey legally. Even I cannot go through the surgery without anesthesia. That was. But what to do? When you are in a country, you have to go through their legal system. Actually, the moment I had the fracture, I told my disciples, hey, drive to Nagari Puttur directly. Don't go to Bangalore. But somehow these fellows said, no, Swamiji, let's first take the X-ray and know where the fracture is exactly and take it to the Nagari Puttur so that they will repair it. We will go to hospital only for diagnosis, but treatment we will go to Nagari Puttur. But once you enter the hospital, they say, no, we can't discharge you. You are a VIP. And the hospital will get the bad name if we send you out. Then I said, all right, perform at least surgery without anesthesia. But the law is law. They said, no, it's a law of the land. They have to first of all report to police and they have to report to government because the VIP having a hand fracture and they are answerable to any of the repercussions or outcomes. Anyhow, but I tell you, only when I demonstrate the powers of the superconscious mutation, world will realize the greatest gift Hindus are having which need to be shared with the whole world. This will be the greatest gift Hindus will be giving to the whole world. I'll continue with my initiations into superconscious mutation. In the further sessions, today I wanted to reveal the blueprint, Paramashiva's blueprint. In the further satsangs, I'll give detailed initiations. So, with this, bless you all. Let's all radiate with integrity, authenticity, responsibility, enriching, causing, living Shuddhatvaita Saivam, Paramadvaitam, the state, space, powers, being, superconsciousness, and Kailasa of Paramashiva, Paramashivoham, Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, the eternal bliss, Maha Kailasa of Paramashiva, Paramashivoham, Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, eternal bliss, Nithyananda. Thank you. Be blissful.
Nithyanandam, Jnanapadati Manual, under the guidance of Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam. Let's start with the Sadguru Vandanam. Nithyanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gaganasadusham Tattvamasyaadilakshya Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Let's go through the disclaimers. Security measures. No photography, video, audio recording. Important cautions. Please be aware of the important cautions. Science of our manifestation is authentic, time-tested, scientific, and foolproof. The Pramanas. The Shastra Pramana, the authentic scriptures, Shrutis, Vedagamas stand as a foundation for Hinduism. Artha Pramana, authentic, time-tested, foolproof compilation of the experience of the sages, rishis, and enlightened masters